Hey, I think I'm live. Welcome. Happy Halloween. So, you guys, like last week, my husband and I were like messing around, putting on like different like Halloween stuff. And he had a bunch of elf ears. I don't know from where. And he's like, hey, put these on. They're like the smallest. Let's see if they fit you. And I put them on and I was like, oh, this is what my face has been needing all along. Y'all, I feel like in a parallel reality, I'm an elf. Like, don't you feel like my face was like made for these years? Like, it's like the thing that's been lacking this entire time. Anyways, hopefully I won't like mess with them and knock them off. But, anyways, welcome. Thanks for dropping by and hanging out with me for a little while. I'm really excited about this. Is one of my favorite topics. Um, but it's like this really juicy, life transforming perspective on how to release shame and self rejection and self resistance, self abandonment, so that you can restore your power. And how actually releasing all these things is the doorway to everything you want in your life and in your business. So, just to give you a sense of what we're going to do, I have a client right after this, like right after this live. So, it's almost like a part two. Today, we're going to do kind of like the philosophy behind it and what happens in your body when we release shame and self rejection, and essentially how love is like the biggest accelerator, the biggest amplifier of money, visibility, authenticity, self expression, um, authority, like all the things we want to have a big impact in the world and build a life of true significance. And then I think early next week, like maybe Tuesday, I'm going to come back and I'm going to take you through a practice to really start to embody this. So recently, I've been kind of taking myself through a deep dive journey into shame, into fear, doing some shadow work. Um, and I've humbly come to realize how, even after all the work I've done, there are still places or pockets where I still abandon myself. I still resist or reject aspects of myself. And I've really come to realize how, even though I've built like a really satisfying, really nourishing and supporting business. I make real decent money, like compared to some people who are well known in the industry. My money is baby money. But for me, it's like it's really good money. It comes every single month. It supports me, it nourishes me, it feels secure, it feels fulfilling, like from all accounts, like a really successful life and business. And yet I look at these pockets, these ways that I have either abandoned myself or rejected myself, and I can see how that has affected my ability to receive and be nourished at yet a level that I could have been all along. Essentially, I'm noticing how it's held me back. Like there's always a next level of expansion and actualization for all of us. And for me, I think it's slowed down my growth significantly. And so this has been the work I've been taking myself because we're never done. And so today I want to kind of take you through all of that and show you how resisting and rejecting who we are essentially blocks our growth. It blocks our willingness to be self-expressed, to be in our self-expression, and it blocks our ability to receive and hold money. The truth is that our level of self-worth and self-love kind of defines the degree of which you are in the receiving state. And so both the receiving of your own soul, of who you were born to be, of that highest level of self-expression that you can have, that's the authenticity piece, and also the receiving state in terms of the receiving of what you were born to create, to do, to impart the world, and to receive and have. So it's at the foundation of all of it. And the more we learn to stop rejecting any and every piece of us, and the more we learn to have our own back, the more we start to feel safe within ourselves. And the more we start to sense that innate value that we have, and to come to love and appreciate exactly who we are, exactly as we are. So when we do that, like that sense of self-love, of self-worth, of self-support in some way creates like this unwavering backbone. Like sometimes for me, it literally feels like wings at my back. And it's like this backbone of calm confidence, of clarity, of a sense of capacity, a sense of unwavering safety. And it allows us to start to actually feel prepared and ready for anything. And I think that's how it kind of makes us rejection proof. It makes us failure proof because we start to trust that no matter what life brings us, we've got what it takes. Whether that shit's good or whether it's not so good, it doesn't really matter. Everything life brings us, we have the capacity, we have the safety, we have the sovereignty to hold it and to know exactly what to do with it, to use it to rise even more. So you start to realize that as your fear, your doubt, your sense of not being good enough start to dissolve, so does your resistance to expansion. So as you start to really claim that unwavering, calm confidence, that sense of conviction and safety and capacity, literally your resistance to receiving, to creating a life and a business that you love, to having more, starts to dissolve because something deep in you, in your nervous system, literally starts to trust that you can create the most abundant life and career without sacrificing yourself, without sacrificing your heart or your health or your time or what matters most to you to get it, to have it. So in the end, your capacity to receive yourself and to really bring all of you back into a sense of wholeness and worthiness is directly related to your capacity to be authentically you, to feel safe being seen in that authenticity. And essentially, your capacity to receive yourself is directly related to your capacity to receive more clients and more money. That's it. It's really, really that simple. All right, before I dive deep, because I feel like I'm already in the training to some degree, let me pause, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Hi, I'm Ilsa. I'm a total spiritual nerd. I'm a bookworm. I'm a nature lover. I live in Boulder, Colorado with my husband and our 2 dogs. Professionally, for the last 20 years, maybe a little more at this point, I've worked as a psychotherapist, an expansion expert, a strategist. I marry neurology and nervous system work essentially with identity and strategy to help leaders, to help purpose-driven business owners kind of tame the chaos, both the internal chaos and the external chaos, and find pathways to move past any kind of barriers that is keeping them small and keeping kind of like their income capped. If you would like to experience this work for yourself, then I would love to invite you to do a one-off session with me. That's how I start with everybody. It's a 90-minute intensive. I called it the Wired for Wealth intensive. And in there, we discover everything that's kind of holding you back. And then I give you a really powerful process to unwind all of those contractions and come back into expansion. And the aim of my work is really to help you create that next level of authenticity, of visibility, of money and financial freedom from this place of unwavering safety, capacity, and sovereignty. If you're interested in doing that, you do get that initial session at a significant saving as somebody who's new to my work. It's just check the description of this training and click the link and you'll get all the details. All right, let's get started. So a huge amount of the work I do with clients prior to even, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. So we do a lot of work on messaging and strategy and marketing campaigns that are aligned and all of that. And that's super fun. I love it. But before I even get to that, oftentimes, literally, my work is helping client rewire their nervous system and their identity to give themselves absolute and complete permission to be who they are. And to basically start to fall deeply in love with themselves exactly as they are. And what that does is it starts to allow them to feel safe showing up fully, being seen fully, feel safe stepping into their power, claiming what they want, asking for what they want, and welcoming the ease, the abundance, the spaciousness that they desire without feeling like they have to change themselves, they have to improve themselves in some way, they have to pay for it or earn it, they have to overcompensate for something that's lacking inside them. So essentially, it's about ease and abundance without the sacrifice. And that always comes from a deep rootedness in feeling whole and worthy. Over the years, I've discovered that one of the major nervous system blocks that keeps us from creating the results we want in life, in love, in business, with our money, in our leadership, is like this really subtle and insidious wound that a lot of us hold, especially if you are kind of a sensitive, purpose-driven entrepreneur, you're a healer. And it's this insidious wound that we're not enough, that we can't succeed or have what we want as ourselves because something in us is either lacking, broken, damaged, or unlovable. And so a lot of the inner work in our journey to success, to making more money, is actually rewiring and recoding, reprogramming the nervous system for more and more permission to be who we are exactly as we are, and to actually start to see the innate perfection, the innate rightness in who we are. So healing the wounds of the past isn't actually about excising or dissolving or even releasing them. It's about union. It's about embracing. It's about loving them to such a degree, loving all the things you think are lacking or broken to such a degree that the shame, the fear, the guilt, the sense of wrongness, of brokenness start to be dissolved. And the wound itself actually start to shift and be alchemized into a power, a life force that we get to use in our everyday life. So it literally, like the wound itself that we thought we needed to heal and get rid of and release and all of that stuff, the wound itself actually becomes the gateway to your freedom and to that next level of authenticity and self-expression. So when we're able to do that, when we're able to stop being afraid and to stop rejecting those pieces of us that we think are in the way, then what happens is on an internal level, we start to make everything in us that felt unsafe, unwelcome. We start to make all of these pieces of us start to feel safe. And everything in us starts to be liberated. And we're finally able to start to claim our worth, to welcome our power, to unbind our magic. Because these wounds oftentimes are actually the holder of our gifts. They hold within themselves pieces of our magic that we need. So we become the fullness of who we are at that point. And that's when being unleashed, being unapologetic, becomes a lot easier. And we're also doing that from this deeply anchored, unwavering sense of trust and safety. Trust that we belong here. We're meant to be here. And safety that it is actually safe to be me, and it is safe to be here, and it is safe to share what I have to share. And so it's this inner trust, this inner sense of unwavering safety, that self-welcoming that actually starts to create and grow your capacity and your sovereignty and your ability to achieve, to receive, and to hold everything that you want without having to sacrifice or overgive or prove yourself. You get to actually start to achieve, receive, and hold everything that you want, being exactly who you are, and doing it exactly the way you want to do it. So this is the point here. Oftentimes when we struggle to be seen, to belong, to feel appreciated and valued, when we struggle to bring in the level of money or clients that we desire, it's actually a reflection of an internal shadow. It's something in us that we don't want to see, something in us that we don't want to appreciate or to welcome inside us. It's a part of us that makes us feel small or inadequate. And so we're rejecting it. It's a part of our experience that we're actually scared to feel, to embrace, or to hold, or we're scared of other people seeing it and knowing about it. And so it is that internal shadow, that rejection that literally constricts the flow. So essentially, you're limiting your own capacity by what you're unable to see, to hold, to love, to feel, to experience inside you and in your life. You're hiding from yourself, and so others can't see you. You're not valuing and appreciating the fullness of who you are, the fullness of your worth. You can't see it in yourself. You can't own it in yourself. And so others can't see it and own it in you. And so you start to see how actually the world is a mirror. So when there's something happening out there, the most powerful questions you can ask yourself, if you've watched these videos, I've shared a lot with my ongoing battle to some degree with social media and with my own visibility, and clients always saying, why are you not famous? Why are your fees still this low? I feel so lucky that I got to meet you while I still can afford you, and all of that. And the truth is, it's not social media's fault. It's something in me that I'm not seeing in myself. Something in me I'm afraid to see. Something in me I don't want others to see. And as long as I'm keeping myself in the shadow, I'm cloaking myself. So we all do that to some degree or another in different areas. And here's the truth. Some of this is not all our fault. We have been taught to push away what shames us. We have been taught to be humble and gracious, especially if you're a woman, or especially if you're a healer or a leader. Like there's all this thing around spirituality, or if you are someone from an oppressed class, you have been taught to be humble, to be gracious, to erase yourself and put others first. You have been taught not to want too much, not to take too much space. And you have been taught to do all of that, to fit in, to belong, to be a good person, a good human, without knowing that all of it has actually been siphoning your own power, your own life force, shrinking your actual sense of safety, of capacity, and sovereignty. All of those things that we have been taught to do to fit in, to be good members of society, are actually making us a shell of who we really are. And so no wonder it feels fucking hard. No wonder creating this big life that you know is available for you, you know it's possible for you, you can taste it, you can feel it, feels kind of far away, and it feels like almost impossible to get to. So it's not just your fault. It's literally the way we've been wired and conditioned and oppressed. That being said, the moment we become aware, then our responsibility is to literally unwind that, unbind ourselves, and start to really come into that wholeness and that claiming of our own power and life force. But here's the good news. Your nervous system holds all of you. It is literally a portal to reclaiming all the pieces and parts of you that you have disowned, or that have been literally like excised or pushed away by society. And your nervous system is also the gateway, the doorway to access all of your power, all of your wholeness. It holds everything. It holds the wound and the wholeness inside it. It holds the smallness, and it holds the strength and the boldness and the bravery. It's all available to you in here. Every day I work with people whose lack of self-worth, of self-love, kind of impacts the results that they get in their lives. They don't believe they're enough. They don't believe that as they are, they have what it takes. And so they overgive, they overextend, they undercharge. By the way, I'm fucking guilty of all that shit. They overcompensate for something they feel is lacking within themselves. And even though they're like overdoing it, overgiving, like they're actually still staying somewhat undervalued and invisible. And so what we have to come to some degree, is we have to stop trying to make up for some kind of something we sense we are lacking, or we feel, we perceive we are lacking in here. And we actually have to literally go straight to what we feel is broken and unbind that. Because no overcompensating, no overgiving, no undercharging will actually make up for something you feel is not worth being seen inside you. So like, just to give you a couple examples, like I have a client, like my client L, who, I'm not sharing a name because I didn't ask her, but who felt like she was too heavy to go on video and to attract clients. Like, these are subtle ways that we hold ourselves back, things that we shame ourselves for, that we believe are actually a real issue to being seen and to being valued. Or my other client A, who thought that without a master's degree or a doctorate degree, no one would take her seriously and no one would pay her what she wants to be paid. Or I have this client who is 67 And we're actively working on shifting this idea that at 67, she's too old to kind of follow her purpose and start a new career, too old to be on social media and be on video and be an influencer, and even too old to attract love at her age. And I'm like, fuck that shit. Like, none of that is real. Let's rewire your nervous system so that you can like drop all of that and start to really love yourself and want all the things you want regardless of your age. Or like my client Susanna, who, I don't mind naming her name because I talk about her a lot, but who, no matter what plan she had to not offer extra support or not discount her fees, it didn't matter. Like, the moment she got on her sales calls and she felt any kind of resistance, she would try to she would start adding more and dropping her fees and trying to make it work, and literally would not honor her own decision, her own time, her own energy. All of those are forms of us abandoning ourselves, sabotaging ourselves, sacrificing ourselves in our lives or in our business to make up for something. And it stems from some inner contraction, from some part or parts of you that you are afraid to see, to own, to feel, to love. And the self-resistance, the self-rejection basically is draining your energy. It's draining your power. And it's leading you to doubt, to overgive, to hide. And then that gets mirrored back to you in reality. So, which reinforces this weird cycle. And so then we're trying to do more, we're trying to give more, and it never works. So in the end, love is the healing balm. It's the radical welcoming and valuing of ourselves and everything within us that makes us unique and special, including and often especially the very things that we try to reject, to deny, to get rid of, or to hide away. Looking at my notes. So self-love is kind of like a reclaiming and a remembrance. And in this work, what we're doing essentially is we're providing what I call the missing experience to all these parts of us. And I won't go into this because it would take too long, but essentially there's like 5 core missing experiences that most of us need to come back into full regulation, liberation, expansion, a full sense of wholeness. And so what we're doing is we're helping everything in us that has ever felt ugly, has ever felt bad, denied, rejected, excluded, not good enough. We're providing them these missing experience, which I will teach you in that initial 90-minute call. So when I say that call will transform your life, whether you actually work with me or not, I mean it. So we're providing these missing experience to all the contracted parts of us. And what we're doing is we're teaching them to start to feel safe once again with us. We're teaching them to start trusting us once again. And as that happens, they start to open, they start to come forward, and they release back, these parts of us release back to us a piece of our power, a piece of our magic that was held kind of locked up inside them. And so what we're doing here as we're becoming our biggest ally, we're unearthing, bringing back to life what I call sometimes a magical child inside of us. Like the part of us that was naturally, innately fearless, bold, brave, the part of us that had big, great dreams and total expectations and certainty that they were special and that amazing things were in store for us. Most of us had a phase in our lives like that as young children, where we weren't afraid to ask for what we want. That if somebody said no, we would roll ourselves on the fucking floor with the, how the fuck do you dare say no to me? I want this ice cream. I want this My Little Pony. I did that, by the way. I was in love with the green My Little Pony, the one that has the flow, like the clover on its butt. And my mom didn't want to buy it to me for me. And I don't think I was 2. I must have been like 5 or 6. So I wasn't that young. And man, I still remember to this day, like feeling outraged that she would not get that for me. And like rolling on the ground in full like drama that she would not get it for me. Like there was such a sense in me that I deserve the best. And so through this work, we start to reclaim that part of us. And we start to reclaim the spirit that we had before we were shamed, before we were hurt, before we were disappointed and bullied into smallness and submission. So we're literally welcoming all of us, all of ourselves home, every single part of us. That part that was sexually assaulted and made to feel dirty. That part that was shamed for her weight. That part that felt and maybe feels too ugly, too stupid, too cross-eyed. That's me. To be seen or to have a big impact or to charge the money he or she wants. The part of us that feels like an outsider. It feels like it doesn't belong. The part of us that was bullied into being afraid of others and into hiding. We're literally bringing all of these parts back into a sense of unwavering safety, unwavering wholeness. And we're teaching them that it's safe to be here. It's safe to be me, to be itself. It's safe to be big. It's safe to take space. It's safe to want what it wants. It's safe to ask and go after what it wants. It's safe to speak the truth. That's why I say safety is always at the foundation of capacity, of sovereignty, of money. So through this work, everything that's been mistakenly thought it was broken, essentially, we reminded its wholeness. We reminded of its strength, of its beauty, of its resilience. We reminded of its power and of its magic that is held within it. And we remind it that it is actually safe to be here as our ally, as our partner in the creation of this masterpiece that is our life. And we bring that into our life and into our business. We start to sell from this level of certainty, from this level of safety, from this level of I belong here and I have something to say. And we start to take our seat and like stake our claim that we're the best. We're the best at what we do. There's no one who does it like us. That we are worthy and deserving of everything we desire. And we start to do that from this place of having no doubt. And that level of boldness, that level of courage, that level of conviction is actually what makes things happen. It's the energy of miracles, that sense of expectation, that bigness is not only what makes you magnetic. People want to be around you because they can feel your sense of self-permission, your sense of self-expression and self-expansion, and they want that for themselves. So like if you're an entrepreneur or even in love, like that's what makes people feel attracted to us. That bigness is literally what magnetizes and what creates overflow in our receiving and our leadership. In doing this work, this self-healing, self-love, welcoming all of us work, we anchor a new paradigm. It's like we anchor a paradigm that knows and feels that I lack nothing, that you lack nothing, that you are literally perfectly made for what you desire. The fact that you desire what you desire lets you know that this is your destiny or you wouldn't want it. And here's the trick. Here's the expansion hack, so to speak. When you fall in love with the things about you or in you that you consider to be an obstacle, a fault, a problem, something to hide, they actually cease to be an obstacle, a problem, and they transmute and they become an asset. So your shyness, your looks, your loud personality, your mess, maybe being a busy mom or a single mom, like your past traumas, your disorganization. Like, I'm not going to show you my desk, but it's a shit show. Like, your sensitivity, all of it, everything you think is in the way actually becomes the way. It becomes something you get to use and something that actually propels you forward instead of holding you back. It becomes something that connects you to other people. I like to say, these are my new favorite sayings recently. Everything you want is on the other side of everything you are rejecting or resisting inside your life and inside yourself. Everything you want is on the other side of what you are afraid to feel and claim. And everything you want is on the other side of what you are afraid others will find out or see in you. You are your own gatekeeper to the visibility, the money, the authenticity, the authority, the belonging that you are seeking and desiring. Just like take that in for a second. You are your own gatekeeper. As you reclaim, make whole, and free the totality of who you are, and you start to rewire your nervous system to feel safe being the fullness of you, you literally realize that you already have everything you need to succeed. And that you actually get to create and receive what you desire by simply being yourself. Let me say that again. You already have everything you need to succeed. And you get to create and receive what you desire by simply being yourself. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to compensate for anything you think is lacking in you. You just get to create and receive what you desire by simply being yourself. Your nervous system is literally the thermostat that kind of defines how much or how little you allow yourself to receive. And it also defines how you create what you desire. Does it get to be easy and seamless and simple? Or do you have to like sacrifice and work really hard for it and effort and push and pull? Like that switch that defines the quantity and the quality of your receivership. It's not out there. It's in here. When you cease to resist and reject yourself, when you cease judging yourself and trying to improve or prove yourself, everything in you, your whole body starts to relax and open. Your aliveness starts to come back. And that, my friends, is the rest, like it's like restoring the flow. The inner flow, the outer flow, and as you restore the flow, you increase your capacity to create, receive, achieve, hold. Because suddenly being you, being here, being big, showing up in a big way, receiving in a big way, suddenly all of that starts to feel safe. and you start to feel worthy and deserving of it. So the world will never feel safe. The world will never see and appreciate you and what you bring to the table in the way that you deserve until you can anchor that in yourself. And so as you become your own North Star, fully anchored and rooted in your value, in your worth, in your deservingness, in your genius and your brilliance, in the love that you have for yourself, you start to shine from the inside. Like you become a lighthouse, undeniable, unignorable. And basically, you start to naturally call people to you, the right people to you. And you start to lead them just by being yourself. And your presence at that point, because you just feel so rooted in your own sense of self, call that sometimes being self-possessed. Like your presence, your expansion, your sense of self-expression becomes a beacon. It's a powerful force that magnetizes the people you're meant to work with, the people you're meant to partner with, to you. And it also magnetizes the money you want, the support you need, the opportunities, like all the abundance that you're looking for start to be magnetized because you have claimed that light inside and you are not hiding it anymore. So everything that you need to succeed is already inside you. And you get to have, create, receive, hold everything you want by simply being yourself. Your only job is to look at where are you not letting yourself be you? Where are you resisting yourself, rejecting yourself, abandoning yourself and your needs and your wants? Where are you hiding yourself and how do you reclaim all of that? So if you are ready to expand out of contraction and to actually repair, repattern, recode your nervous system, your body, your identity, so that you can achieve and grow and receive with more ease and enjoyment, then I would love to work with you. And working with me, we essentially marry neurology, identity, strategy. We marry it all to shift your current set point, to increase your capacity for more, to help you master kind of like your mind, your feelings, so that you can create a completely new experience of being you, a completely new experience of your life, of your business, of your leadership, and of course, a completely new experience of receiving and holding money. And so together we kind of calibrate your body and your self-identity and your business for the big expansion that you can sense is right on the other side of this. It's there. You can sense it's on its way to you and it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you to show up in a slightly different way, or it's waiting for you to open in a slightly different way. And so this work essentially gets you ready to welcome a shit ton more visibility, money, clients, love, support, joy, without that feeling overwhelming and without you needing to sacrifice or self-sabotage yourself in some ways. So if you'd like to experience this work, click the link in the description of this video. Let's have a session. It's 90 minutes one-on-one with me. You get to experience this work and leave with something tangible that you get to use for the rest of your life. You actually get access to this session as somebody who's new to my work for a significant discount. And what we do is essentially like we explore and discover where are the wounds, the blocks that are holding you back, that are held in your nervous system. And then I take you through my proprietary process that shows you exactly how to come out of that sense of contraction, back into safety, and then back into expansion. And so here's the deal. Whether you decide to work with me or not after that, this will be absolutely a life-changing experience, and it's worth more than double the price. All right. If you want details, click the link. I will be back on Tuesday, I believe, with a guided practice to help you really meet that sense of self-love and self-worth and start to embody that. Okay.